Hello, Ajita. Ajita.
Yes, yes,
So
sir.
probably firstly you will be presenting, or
Okay,
means I am not sure because I need to make
I will
a
present.
presenter. So probably Ajita and Vijay, both you have a lecture. So who will be presenting
Yes,
first?
I will present. I will present. I'll share
Okay,
my screen.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
So I make you now presenter. So you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Bharat sir,
Yes, Amit sir, बोलिए.
shall we start, sir?
Yes, why not?
Okay. Shall we start, Ajita ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, good evening, all of you. So, welcome for the last session of our day 6. So, in this session, we will be discussing about the blended learning. So, we have a two experts for that, Ajita Desmukh and V. Vijaya Rama. So, Ajita Desmukh is a passionate chemistry educator keen towards making quality chemistry education accessible and fun. She currently works as an assistant professor ICT with the School of Education and Research, MIT ADT University, Pune, India, where she trains pre-service teacher. She is also a course developer for Open Education for Better World, a UNESCO project by University of Nova, Slovenia. She has previously worked as assistant professor at CIET, NCRT, and as a training coordinator at Teaching Learning Center, SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. Her area of interest are online education, particularly open education, and she specializes in a social media in education. Another speaker we have is V. Vijaya Rama, who holds a master degree in power system from NIT Warangal, Telangana. Inspired by technology, he strives to impart knowledge about the use of technology in teaching learning process with special emphasis on implementation of active learning strategies in classroom. Organize several FDPs on the use of ICT, educational and blended learning in teaching learning process as a remote center coordinator for educational technology development, IIT Bombay. He is currently working as an associate professor in electrical and electronics engineering department, GR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad, Telangana. His current responsibilities also include Dean IQAC and TCube coordinator at GRIT. His research interests include use of technology for teaching, power system analysis, and smart grids. I welcome both of you, sir and madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
And a very warm welcome to all the participants on a Sunday afternoon. And we really hope to have a fantastic interaction. I, on behalf of myself and Vijay sir, we are going to take you on a drive of blended learning. Now let's see a few things first. Like we would like to acknowledge Dr. Samir Sahasrabudhe, Director EMRC Pune. We would also like to place on record our acknowledgements to Professor Sridhar Iyer and Professor Sahana Murthy, both from Education Technology Department of IIT Bombay. The material that we have used today is extensively taken from the content that is developed by them on their websites. We also would like to acknowledge our own teammates, Professor Daisy Barwa, Professor Natasha Gomes, and also Professor Ila Venil K, who have contributed to today's the presentation and the content. So let's see what we are going to do today. We are going to first see the meaning and the concept of blended learning, because I won't say that it is a very new concept, but it is something that we are trying to adapt into full-fledged online scenario, which is going to be our current semester. So we are actually going to try to have a lab where you all will be designing a blended class. And that will help us to identify certain models of blended learning which are commonly in use. And then we will move on to a very specific niche called as flipped class, which is a part of blended learning as well. So, ready? Let's see. So, Vijay, can we
Yeah,
have the detail of the activity?
yeah, sure. Actually, the pandemic has forced us, suddenly it's mandated for all of us to move to online lecture or online taking online lessons. So before we move on to the session, we would like to take your experiences. We would like to listen to your experiences. What you have experienced in the last concluded semester, where you have suddenly moved from face to face regular classroom scenario to the online lecture. And then I think most of you might have already started online sessions for the current semester, probably. We would like to listen from you, your experiences. So consider your idea of online instruction, whatever it may be, whatever the way, mode you might have already conducted. Uh, what is the, which aspect of face-to-face classes do you miss the most while moving to the online instruction? So this by this time you have already adapted to the present online situation. But when you have moved from the face-to-face scenario to the online session, what are the things that you have missed in the face-to-face type of mode? We would like to listen to your experiences.
Yes,
Please,
please
you can.
type your responses in the chat window.
Yeah, already we are getting responses
Yes.
from the participants, knowing
Oh,
whether students are listening to listening or not, the and interaction with them. Yeah, there are two things that are given by Manish. One is
yeah.
listening to the students and interaction, and taking classes with the active movements and gestures by Sujit. And then faces, another faculty is given faces, we cannot see the faces, and taking classes with active movements and gestures, another response. And active discussions. And Professor Angana, Anga saying it's eye to eye contact. We are missing eye to eye contact. Yeah, several people posted this
Yeah,
also.
most of them are saying, are they really listening? Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So we got a lot of
So let's see.
response, especially
Yes.
facial expressions and all. Yeah. Let us see. Let us have a conclusion about these challenges. What we have already experienced when we have moved from face to face to the online. Just you can, if you look at the responses from the learners, more of your responses will maybe matched with whatever the list that we have presenting over here. Okay, so starting from making eye contact. So many people has commented on this, making eye contact. Yeah, we really miss that eye contact because of though it is online, though we can have this video, because of bandwidth problems and all, we are not able to see in the real time, the learners in the real time. So obviously we are missing the eye contact, but it is possible occasionally. You can ask the students to switch on their unmute their videos, and you can interact with them. It's possible occasionally. Okay. So similarly, using gestures. Okay. So right now, even we are also not unmuting us ourselves. So, but it's possible if you can unmute and show your gestures to the students. But in the coming days, when you move on to the 5G technology, maybe virtual reality may also come into picture, and this problem may also vanish. But Another important challenge, thing that we are missing is walking around. Obviously, this may not be possible right now. Why do we walk around the students in the class? Most of the times, we would like to know whether they are able to chart down what are the things that we are explaining to them. So we'll peep to their notebooks, and we will understand whether they are following our lecture or not. Okay. This can also be done online occasionally by asking them to show their notepads. Okay, that will also be possible. And then seeing student faces and adapting in real time. Yeah, this is going to be a major challenge in the online. Okay, if it is direct face to face, obviously looking at their face expressions and feelings, then we can adapt. We can understand whether they are able to understand the flow or not. Okay. Again, this is going to be a challenge. This can be done only by using either feedback or analytics, what you can take from after conducting the session. Okay, it may not be possible in real time. Okay, that is one more thing that we are missing in the online lecture. And coming to the writing on the board, obviously, especially people who teach mathematics or the subject where we have a lot of derivations and things like diagrams like phasor diagrams. Okay, those people really miss this chalk and board type of sessions. So for them, what you can have is digital writing pads like Wacom or XP Pen. Okay, there are a few digital boards that are available in the market. You can integrate them with applications like Jamboard from Google, and you can also overcome this type of challenge by using these devices. And then coming to the interaction uh, and doing question and answers. Okay, again, it's going to be a challenge for the online lecture, but these things can be overcome by using, to some extent, by using the forums, discussion forums in your LMSs, or the chat, like just like what we are doing right now. And then you can also use the poll option in the online lectures, question and answer sessions. Okay, so these are all the things what you can do to overcome some of the challenges. Okay, so this is what
Yes.
we have experienced till now. Okay, yeah.
Yes, and as Vijay has very rightly pointed out, and you all have given us your feedback. So we do understand that there is this question always in the teacher's mind that are you all passively listening? But by seeing the amount of comments that we have received in the chat, the stream of it, we can surely know that you are not passive. In the same manner, the forums and the chat can be very successfully used for that. Now, we have talked about what are the challenges that we as teachers face. But what about the students? So, Vijay has got one more activity for that as well. Yes,
Yeah,
Vijay.
so yeah, till now we have discussed the from the teacher's point of view. Let us see the problems that are faced from the student's point of view. Okay, what are the challenges that are faced by the students to attend the online lectures? Okay, so we have mandated them to come online for the regular instructions. So what are all the challenges that are faced by the students? Maybe some of your students might have already reported to you regarding these online classes. Okay, so we would like to hear such feedback from your students. Okay, yeah, very good. It's a network issue. Rajnikant says, and Professor Srijit saying it's lack of attention span and connectivity issue, and basically network issue, the language and data issue, internet connectivity, boredom, friends, and then availability of resources. Professor Sohil says it is availability of resources, and then we have interaction with peers. Yeah, very good. It's a really very good challenge for those students. They will miss their peers, definitely. And then lack of interest for long time. Very good. Network issues in some locality like backward areas. High problem. Yeah. Health issues may be another challenge. And the disturbance at the home. Yeah. Technical glitches and small screen, data Okay, so we are getting a lot of responses from the participants. Just let us summarize some of these responses. So coming to the most of the participants mentioned about access issues. Yeah, definitely in this present scenario, as all of us are connecting to the networks, there are a lot of issues with the network connections, low bandwidths, and uh, other issues. So starting from the student's point of view, the basic necessity is a smartphone. Okay, at least it's a smartphone. If they have laptops or desktops, it is fine. If they cannot afford, even they may not have. Some people may not have the smartphones also. There is one issue. And then even if the people are having few smartphones and laptops, maybe if there are more number of siblings, then they may need to share the device. Even personally, I need to share my laptop with my kids sometimes. Okay, when they want to do some offline activities, obviously I need to share the device. Okay, so that is another challenge, and lack of flexibility in the schedules. Okay, obviously we will have the rigid schedules, especially when it comes to the online lecturing. In the normal day-to-day scenario, we will have fixed schedule. Okay, so we cannot change the schedules. So obviously, at that time, availability of the particular device may not be possible. Okay, there is another issue which the students will face, and as you are all likely pointed out, it is power and network issues, especially in rainy season like this. Obviously, we'll have a lot of problems with the power issues and also the network issues. Okay, and then as somebody likely pointed, it's long lecture hours. Yeah, normally in regular classes we will have some lectures about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so when you go for online, continuously watching the screen for 1 hour time, obviously it may be difficult for the students uh, and attend the classes. And also the glitches in the recordings. Even if you give them some pre-recorded videos, and there may be some problems in the recordings also. Okay, normally what we will do is when it comes to the online, obviously we'll deliver the lecture, and then we'll share the recorded versions also. Okay, so it will create lots of interest in the students' attention. Okay, and even if you create some short lectures, and if they are like monologues lectures, okay, then even the students may not be interested and they may not fully watch that video. Okay, so that is another issue, and we have one more. Professor, just Ajita, yeah.
Yes,
One
yes.
more, it is lecture alone not enough. Need activities for deeper engagement. Okay, this is one thing which normally we will do in the regular classes. Okay, to maintain the attention of the students, along with the lecture, we will also do several activities which is we are missing in the online lecturing. So these are all the issues what the students are facing. So let us see how
Yes.
these challenges from the teacher's point of view and students' point of view can be overcome by using a better content delivery model. Yeah,
Yes.
Ajita, please go
So
ahead.
there were a few more answers, or rather responses to our questions.
Okay.
Some of them are like, we have our team also with us who is telling us what extra things we have to deal with. There is something, one person has also mentioned about slow learners, and
Yeah.
also there were chats in the chat. We also had messages about, or responses about, laboratories, or let's say
Yes.
something which is social part, right? They are missing their peers, they are
Yes.
missing the classroom environment. So yes, all these things are also there. And what we did so far for the last 3 or 4 months is called as emergency remote teaching. We, if we have been calling it as online teaching, well, it's not actually online teaching, it is emergency remote teaching. Because what we did was, we exactly replicated what we used to do in our normal classroom, and we uploaded the recording, and we tried to reach our students. We are not saying that it is wrong, but it was just an emergency measure because we were not at all prepared for it. Also, it was just a temporary thing to set up so that the students and the teachers are not completely left out of the learning scenario and the learning environment. But there was hardly any planning. We can say that very extremely less preparation in terms of even the network. So that is why basically the technological issues are the ones that are commonly being faced. And as almost all our attendees have said, that it's more or less the problem of having lot of concentration span or attention span. So if we are going to take a 1 hour or a 2 hour exactly replicated lecture, then that was fine for the initial 2 3 months. But now with the entire semester being planned online, it's better that we move from this emergency remote teaching to an actually planned online learning environment, because we cannot actually just simply mimic what we have been doing in the class. And like you all have said, that activities have to be there, peer interaction have to be there, we have to take care of the slow learners, we have to also take care of the technological aspects, the device sharing, and the poor network, also the laboratories which should be designed for the activities purposes. So all this can be done, but if we are going to do it like the ERT format only, then it's not going to work, because that was really just an emergency that the whole world was facing. And ERT, or emergency remote teaching, is effective, but only when it is used to lesser extent. So that's, it has to be there that this type of thing can be taken to about say 20% of the course. But now it can't be, because we have the entire new semester and we are planning in that particular direction, because we know that we are going to have online. So it's nothing like ki, oh, till yesterday we were taking normal brick and mortar class and suddenly we are into this situation. So that has settled. So now what can we do to make our online environments better? That is what we are actually going to have a look at, considering all the challenges that have been already listed out. So being aware of the challenges is the first step towards improvement. So we are going to start with the online content delivery, which can be in synchronous or asynchronous mode, which Vijay is going to tell us more about.
Yeah. So till now, from the ages, we are used to this synchronous mode of teaching. Though partly we are using asynchronous mode for distance learning. Otherwise, most of the teaching and learning process happened in the synchronous mode only. And when it comes to the synchronous mode, you can have this synchronous mode of learning in both in Ajita, you can go up.
Yes.
Yeah. Just yeah, it can be synchronous, can be done in face to face, which we already used to. Otherwise, in the present scenario, you can go with video conferencing as well as live lectures. Okay, so these are the ways in which you can go with synchronous mode, and we are used to that. And then now we have one more type of content delivery, that is asynchronous mode. And almost in the India, we have started in the 21st century. We are right now we are moving forward to adapt this MOOC type of lectures as well as the LMS that we are incorporating in our courses. Okay, so in the coming forward days, we are going to make use of these two, both synchronous and asynchronous. Okay, so let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages what we have in the synchronous and asynchronous modes of delivery. Okay, so starting with synchronous learning. So this is it can be how offline or online. Okay, so offline already we have a lot of experience. So this synchronous mode of learning happens at a specific time. That means in the real time, where the teachers and learners will also participate in the learning in the real-time scenario, and learners, if it is offline, they will be with their peers, and whenever they have any doubts, they can also them cleared from the peers or even the teacher. Okay, so there is a lot of learners engagement is possible in case of synchronous mode of learning. So directly you can interact with either the teacher, or you can also interact with your peers when it comes to the offline. And even the online mode also, the peers can also have the chat, the private chat between among them to get the clarifications and have the learners engagement. And the learning also happens dynamically. So since we have the face-to-face interaction and face-to-face interaction, you can able to adapt the way in which you are delivering the lecture by looking at their facial expressions and the way whether they are understanding the subject, or the whether you are going fast, or you need to slow down your delivery. Okay, such type of feedback is there. Instant feedback, you can get it from the facial recognition from the students, and you can dynamically adapt to the lecture. And even you can also change the depth of your instructions in the face-to-face in synchronous mode of learning. Okay. And at the same time, we have some difficulties in synchronous learning, like we have rigid schedules. Okay, if because of some problem, if anybody absents to the class, obviously they will not have a chance to listen again in our normal classes. If it is online, then what you can do is you can put some online recordings. Again, we have already discussed about the challenges what we are going to face when you put such type of recordings. Okay, so because of this rigid schedule, we are facing some problems in synchronous learning. And then we will also come across all the technical difficulties which you already discussed when you go for online lecturing. Okay, so these are all the advantages and disadvantages of synchronous learning. Okay, so when we go for asynchronous learning completely, okay, where the teachers and learners participate in the learning at the learner's own scheduled time. Okay, so the teachers, what they will do is the content they will prepare, and they will give it to the learners, and the learners will go to the content at their own pace. Okay, so whenever they're interested, they can start learning the content, and there is no specific schedule for this. Okay, but you will have this academic calendar and all, but the learners will learn at their own pace. Okay, there is one of the advantages of asynchronous learning. One is flexibility in time. Okay, anytime, anywhere, they can access this content, and they can go through the content and learn the concepts. And the pace also is possible. Even if the video is fast, they can change the speed and as per their requirement, and they can go through the content and they can get the concepts. And one more advantage with this asynchronous learning, it is most affordable, because the learners are not utilizing the infrastructure of the institutes. Okay, they are less utilized. They're going to use very little amount of infrastructure from the institute point of view. So the institutes can also cater the needs of more number of learners. When they go for asynchronous learning mode, they can cater to the more number of learners in the asynchronous mode. So it will become affordable to the learners also. Okay, these are all the advantages in asynchronous mode. And coming to the disadvantages, so there are reduced personal interactions. Yeah, as you are not face to face, you will have less number of personal interactions. But this problem can be overcome by using the discussion forums, where you can post your doubts, and those doubts can be clarified either by your peers or the instructors. Okay. So you need to wait till the answer comes. Okay, so that is one discouragement for the learners. Okay, if he has to wait for a longer time, it will demotivate. Okay. And one more important disadvantage is there may be a risk of apathy. Okay, if you give monologue type of videos or contents, then they may lose the interest. Okay, there is one more problem what we are going to have in asynchronous learning. Okay, in order to for both of these, Asta is going to give a solution which can be adopted now. Yeah, please.
Yes, actually, it's not that I am going to give a solution. I'm just going to share it because the solution
Yeah,
exists right from quite a few days. So, what we are doing is, in pedagogical terms, we say that let's blend it. So, what is actually going to happen is we are going to mix them, like and it's going to be very interesting because each one of us can have our own marks, and we are going to see how it can be personalized to our own things as well. So let's see that we have two types of content delivery, or let's say we'll not even talk of content delivery, we will just say that there are two types in which we can conduct lectures and learning can take place. So one is synchronous, the other is asynchronous. And when we actually mix it, what's going to happen is we are going to get a blend. It's something like making your own milkshakes and different types of coffees, which we have got blends and variety of it. And earlier, what used to happen was the synchronous part used to happen in the classroom. So that's why when I said that, okay, we are not here to give you any solution, we are just sharing, because this particular part was already there. But what has changed is it has now become online. So when we are talking of blended, earlier the major method of blended, the pedagogical strategy says that you learn a little bit at home and then you come back to the class and you discuss. But now the class is also online. So whenever we are saying that it is going to be online, offline, that is the traditional method of blended. Now whenever we will say synchronous and asynchronous. So asynchronous means where the person is studying on his or her own, while synchronous means the live sessions that we are going to take. So that's something that we are attempting. And if we do this, then many of our challenges that we have listed can actually be overcome. And that's a fantastic way, because there was a response to us that online lectures are a burden. I think it has come from the YouTube or it has come from the chat, but we have received this from one of our team members. Yes, because online lectures are going to be a burden, not only on the person who's attending, because you can't sit at one particular place for the entire day, but it's also going to be burdensome in terms of data, in terms of device sharing, and cognitive load. So there has to be a blend where we can't have rigid structures and we can have face to face online if at all needed. But the trick here in blending is, see, we all can make cold coffee, right? But there is something called at Starbucks. So what is it all about? So how much do we blend? What do we exactly decide the percentage? So we have different types of blended learning modes where we are going to mix the synchronous and the asynchronous. Yes, Akash Kumar sir is saying it is also irritating to sit in front of the system throughout the day. Yes, it's not only irritating, it's also quite unhealthy. And therefore, we don't worry, we will also give you a little bit of break. But let's come back to what is asynchronous and synchronous and how do we blend. So, like I just gave you the example of coffee, or even for that matter, people who will have to say that, okay, I don't drink coffee. Well, we also have lots of blends in chai also. So that doesn't give us an excuse. So let's see how to blend, what to blend, where to blend. All of it is what we are going to do today. And therefore, we also have a lab session. But let's see if at all it is asynchronous, then yes, our instructions can go asynchronous. That is the content. If we are going to ask them to read, that can definitely go asynchronous. Let them read at their own pace, at their own flexible time, and come back. The participation need not be clammed up into that 1 hour lecture, but it can also be opened up in terms of discussion forum. Any fora that any LMS, if you're going to use, or many colleges and students are using WhatsApp groups or let's say Telegram groups, the participation can happen there as well. A discussion forum has to just satisfy the basic thing of discussion. So the tool is irrespective. Then comes the practice and simulations, because the practice is what one of the point was, that students when they do the practicals, and then how will they do the practice. So yes, there are simulations which they can take multiple times in their flexible schedule, so that can go asynchronous. Even when we are saying that okay, self evaluate, even that can go as asynchronous. Then what is left in synchronous is what we will say as teachers, then pura hi kar do asynchronous, then there will be apathy and lack of interaction. Well, no. Actually, the synchronous session has to be there basically to utilize it for discussion. Just now, I saw a message popping up that already there are people are becoming distant day by day, and there is lack of personal contact. Exactly my point. I'm very sorry to have missed out the name who wrote that particular comment, but exactly the point that we are trying to make, that when we are going to have a synchronous session, it should be for discussion. Let the students discuss. Maybe if they are not able to unmute themselves, but at least through the chat, there has to be discussion. But what unfortunately it's seen at many places is that we tell our students to, mute their mics, put off their videos, and switch off the chat also. My God, if that is the way of content delivery, it can better go asynchronous, because as it is, we are not allowing them to discuss. Then why do we need to have the synchronous online lecture, right? So if we are going to plan a synchronous online lecture, then it essentially has to be for discussion. Along with discussion, it should also be used for problem solving, so that lots of perspectives of students can be brought in and learning can become broader and deeper. Then we can have different variety of participation by means of lots of other activities that we can conduct here. Yeah, we can, in fact, the theater people and the film people have already shown us that you can make a film also, right, without moving from one place to another. So let's just try to be a little bit innovative and try to take things from all these different fields, and let's say try to think upon how our participation can increase when, if and when we are going to have synchronous sessions. So we can have like a debate can be organized, a question answer format can be organized. Discussion are difficult but not impossible if the number of students are more. There are lots of tools which we can utilize, and we will talk of them as in the due course of our session today. We can also have synchronous lectures or synchronous sessions to demonstrate. Now, demonstrations of each subject, that depends upon whether we are going to use a simulation, or we may also conduct very small type of an experiment at our end, and then we can have a demonstration of that. So there are different modes of blended learning depending upon what we plan to do in the synchronous part, what we plan to do in the asynchronous part. And that is the reason why we have to have a solid planning. And if it's going to be a new semester, let's face the new semester with very strong, robust planning. And this is one method to do it. So the question is always that, like I said, how much to blend, what to blend, where to blend. So yes, Vijay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we have gone through the various components of asynchronous mode as well as the synchronous mode. So what are the things that goes into the asynchronous mode, and what are the things that you can have in a synchronous mode? So what could be the ratio that you propose for this asynchronous and synchronous? Okay, so Professor Kaveri is saying it is 50-50, 50% asynchronous and 50% synchronous. And somebody is saying 1:3 and 60:40. So 2:1 and 70:30 and 80:20. So asynchronous, they want more amount of asynchronous content, and then 20% is synchronous. and others are saying that it's 50-50, 30-79, 60-40. So you are getting, so more, if you look at the responses, most of the people are agreeing that we need to have more amount of asynchronous part compared to the synchronous part. Okay, so let us go through the traditional, compare with the traditional class. Okay, what we are looking at the screen, it is the traditional scenario. Okay, in the traditional scenario, almost 60% of the content will be delivered in the live classes. In the regular classes, we will deliver 60% of the content, and then we will give them few activities or few tutorials or some homework type of things which they can do at home, and that's going to be 40%. So learning happens both in synchronous in the classroom as well as at the home. Okay, but the ratio is 60% in the classroom and 40% in the at the home. Okay, now when we are moving on to the asynchronous mode or online instructions, then what happens is, in order to reduce the screen time, whatever it is. Okay, so we are going to give 70% as the course material. Okay, in the asynchronous mode. Okay, we are making 70% of the content as the asynchronous mode. So 70% learning will happen in the asynchronous mode, and remaining 30% is going to happen in the synchronous mode, like this live lectures and all. Okay, so this is what
Yes.
we suggest. Yeah.
Yes, and we are getting responses like 75-25, and
Yes.
also one response that just remember that the 70-30 is nothing like ideally you should go like this,
Yeah.
but this is more or less the average, where the individual time of studying that used to happen after the class is now going to happen much more, and what used to be in the synchronous mode is going to be 30% or lesser than that. This will depend on the subject, yes, but most of the subjects can follow this 70-30, asynchronous 70 and synchronous 30. That is the maximum percentage. We can have excellent courses run even 90% asynchronous and 10% synchronous if we have a solid planning and a robust activities to be there. And when we say that, that's what like we said, when the 70-30, that is also in a different color, basically, because these are the average way in which we can think, because not all teachers are comfortable having minimum contact with the students. So teachers also need to have contact with the students as much as the students need to have contact with the teachers. So how much does a teacher need to be in contact? That is also going to decide this 30%. If a teacher can monitor students without the online class, face to face, then yes, we can definitely reduce this and increase the asynchronity. So there's something more coming up. Vijay has got something else on its sleeve.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have one more activity over here. It is why do we need this synchronization? Okay, so why can't somebody may say that why can't we go completely asynchronous mode? Okay, what is the necessity of going for synchronization? Okay, just we have given some examples like for information sharing and feedback. Just you can think about the reasons why do we need to have these synchronizations, and you can put your response in the chat. So mathematical
Yes.
subjects need a demo on problem solving. Okay, a proper interaction, for a proper interaction to clear the doubts. Very good. So major reason for going synchronous mode is problem solving, as people are giving the responses, and the initiation.
Yes.
Very good, very good, and the reinforcement of learning, and for timely evaluation. Okay, so lab work. Okay, lab work. Just like what we have seen the previous, yeah, for lab work, obviously you prefer synchronous mode.
Okay,
Yeah.
so more or less, we are agreeing, everybody is agreeing here that it is for not just content delivery. Oh, there was one very different type of a comment which was not expected. We will see about that if there is time. Okay, to be or not to be synchronous, then let's see what all things. So let's, on the basis of whatever you have responded, we have tried to put this. We are going to see if it is correct or right or
Yeah.
wrong.
What about the
Yes, it's right.
motivation? What about the motivation?
Yeah.
Whether we need to go with synchronous or asynchronous mode, whether it is correct or not. Just you can type yes or no. If you want to, as somebody has likely pointed out, for the initiation, we require
Yes.
synchronous mode. Yeah, yes, it's.
Yes.
We need to have a synchronous session for motivation or the initiation, as somebody has likely pointed out. And then
Yes. What
coming to
about
the
the feedback?
yeah, what about the feedback? We are getting a lot of yes responses. Yes, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes. So the person has already started thinking that whether feedback can be given asynchronously. That's
yes,
good.
yeah, yeah. So people are thinking about whether we can also get the feedback asynchronously. Yeah, but always it's advisable to have in the synchronous mode so that you can come across what are all the difficulties that they are really facing, and they can directly open up in the session. Yeah, and then coming to the tracking of the activities, the various activities, is it necessary or not to have a synchronous session? Do we need to really conduct a session to know whether the learners are following attempting all the activities that we have already assigned to them or not? Is it really necessary or not?
Yes. We
So
had only two correct answers who said
yeah,
no.
especially when we
So
are using systems like LMS, then it may not be necessary, because you will get all the feedbacks, especially if you look at the Moodle type of things, where you will have the activity completion reports that are already available. Okay, so there you need not to conduct any synchronous session for just simply looking at the to monitor whether the learners have already done that activity or not. Okay, so
yes, and
yeah,
there was
yeah,
one comment, it depends upon the subjects. Yes, of course, it
yes,
depends upon the subject. But we would request and we would just try to urge you all that for some time, if we keep the subject as not like the thing to decide and think of like can we push the boundaries of the subject pedagogy, that yes, I know that this needs to be tracked, but can I utilize something else, some other method? There definitely has to be some other method, and then we will see that it can be applicable to a lot more domains. Oh, are we
yeah,
talking of the assessment now? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
So
the
because the
next,
answer is out, let's omit that
yeah,
and go
yes,
ahead.
no, okay. Then coming to the presentations, if you ask your students, the learners, to give presentations, does it require the synchronous mode or asynchronous mode? So whether is it does it require synchronous mode or not? Yes. Somebody is saying it is asynchronous. No, not required. Somebody is saying no. So we are getting a mixed response for these presentations.
Okay,
Yeah.
saying so. Okay, but
Yes.
we thought that yes, that we need synchronous for the student presentation, because that is another way in which students can interact and they can feel the missing class environment. But see, that's what we are actually trying to bring in, that what we may have thought of our class, you may think in a different manner, and there will always be a different type of a blend. This is exactly what we are trying to show. Yes, sir.
Yeah. The
Yes,
next
Vijay, take up.
next topic is this information sharing. Do you require any sessions to share the information? Synchronous sessions to share the information. Yeah, it's asynchronous. Yeah. So for information sharing, Actually, whenever again, if you are using any LMS type of thing, or there are various ways in which you can share your contents to the students. So you may not really require any synchronous session to share your contents or information. Okay. So and the next one is discipline. Okay. So for discipline, whether they require synchronous session or not. So yes, yes, most of the teachers, they are they want a session in synchronous mode to have the discipline among the students. Just whenever we are
And
tracking,
yes.
tracking,
So
yeah, please.
discipline, you don't have to be in the synchronous mode to ensure discipline in our students. There is a difference, a slight difference, where we need to understand that there is a fine line between being restrictive and being disciplined. So discipline can be brought even asynchronously. And once these lines are very clearly shared with the students, I am sure that the students that you all cater to are mature enough to understand this. And so you will not require a synchronous session for discipline. That could be very well leveraged for the peer participation and the peer interaction. That is the necessity of that age group. Okay, let's go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Coming to the self-study, does it require any synchronous session for self-study?
Okay.
Yes, it
You're all
doesn't.
saying
It may
go.
not require because the learners will go on their own pace when you have already given the sufficient amount of content. They can go on their own pace, so it may not require any synchronous type of session for self-study. And then the last one, there is problem solving. Do you require any synchronous session for problem solving or not? Yes, this is where we require the intervention of teachers. Normally, whenever you give tutorials or problems which are at a difficult level, then obviously they require proper guidance of the teacher. For such type of things, obviously you can go with the synchronous sessions. Okay, this is how you can decide between various components in our teaching among the synchronous mode and asynchronous mode. So
Yes.
and from these things, if you look at from all these components, you can say most of the part you can go with asynchronous mode of learning, and then only small part can be go with the synchronous mode of learning. Okay, so yeah, please.
Yes, through problem solving, but they still need to interact with the faculties, was the
Yeah.
chat response that I read. And yes, they definitely need to interact with the faculties. And that is why we have here the lab session. And we are actually going to blend and see how differently we all are going to have our own mark of blend. Okay, so we have tried to make it as simple as possible, keeping in mind that it has to be generic, because different faculties, different people from various domains are attending this, and also the fact that because it's a lab session, which we need to just show you a direction and then it's going to happen. So we have picked up from the public domain two sites, which of course are dealing with corona, because that was the most generic thing that we can lay hands on. Now, what we are going to do is, suppose if this is going to be the particular topic that we are going to teach, then we are going to prepare a blended session plan. And we would request you to make the plans, because we have the templates and all, everything is ready, which we will be sharing with you in the chat. And we are going to, these two links, is Vijay going to paste the
Yes,
link here?
yeah. Actually, I have posted in the chat.
Yes.
Please
Yes.
go through the
So,
first link for the content. That is the topic. That is how to protect yourself and others. Just if you go to the last, you will also find the same topic in the PDF format. Also, you can download and you can go to that content. And then you have
yes.
one more video about the techniques that you can use for hand wash, that can be seen in the YouTube link which I already posted in the chat. Yeah, please.
Yes, so using these two resources, that is the content, what we are going to try to do is that let's have a design for blended learning session. And to start with preparing the sessions, we have one thing first is the first thing that we as teachers need to understand or rather answer the question is that what do we need the learners to achieve. So once you go through that content, just try to note down that after this content what you want your learners to achieve and to what standard. Okay, so what we are in fact trying to do is we are trying to set the educational objectives. So that's the first thing that we do here. As opposed to the normal teaching, the second step is should be a surprise for you, because when we are talking of blended or in fact anything online learning scenario, as soon as we set the objectives, we don't start teaching. We first start on the assessment that okay, if this is going to be my objective, then what is going to be my outcome. Okay, so if at all I plan to have some great outcome, but then comes my question that where are my learners located? Do my learners have that type of a thing? If that's not there, then I will need to change my outcomes. I will need to change my assessment and accordingly my objectives. So my major task, my first step into planned online learning or blended learning as we are doing today is the first thing that what I want my learners to achieve, set the objective. Then how am I going to assess and what am I going to assess? So what are going to be the outcomes that I'm looking out for, and see whether my learners will be able to access both the content as well as the assessment. So can you just try to jot down using that particular content there? Then we go to the next step. We are giving you like 2 to 3 minutes because I'm very sure that the faculty of NITs will not require more than this. So just when you try to see the particular website or the content, it's a very generic one where if you see it, then hand wash techniques and the amount of alcohol in sanitizers, how to use the mask, when to use the mask, and
Yeah.
they are that level thing, so that it shouldn't be taking more than 2 to 3 minutes to go through the content.
Yeah,
The
actually,
major
some of the
point is this.
Ajita,
Yes.
actually, some of the participants are already started posting in the chat. So what we can suggest them is to put it in a Word file and later they can
Yeah.
upload in the
Yes. Can you
drive.
please
Yeah,
put
please.
it or write it down in in some paper or in a Word file, because we will be sharing a template with you where you can very nicely copy paste and your session plan will be ready for you to share with us, which we can then share the screen with all the participants. So if you have done that, then should we go to the next? Yeah, I'll just take a 1 minute and then we'll move to the next step of planning the blend.
I hope all of you can access the links. Yeah.
Okay, so should we go to the next step? I think we should.
Yes.
Or are we waiting for some more time? Okay, so assuming that you have gone through the content, or rather you have gone through the 3 steps. So I'll just once again say the 3 steps. You may note it down because you might need it when you are going to put it into the actual template. That is, first, what we do is we set the educational objectives. Then we decide on the outcomes, and then we decide that what assessments will we need to have to achieve that outcome. And then we also think of the access that the students have, and we will start planning our strategies, that how do we send the content, how do we take the assessment, how do we see different activities, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go into the details now. Now that the first step is done, let's go to the next step, that is detailing part. So we have the content. So now how am I going to transmit this particular content that I have? That is what will be my next step as an online instructor or as an instructor who's taking a blended learning approach. So is it going to be through LMS, or is it going to be put up in a drive or somewhere, which the link of which I am going to share through maybe social media groups or through emails or what? So we need to plan with that. Then we will also try to find out in this particular content, and to achieve those outcomes, where all do we need to have dialogues and discussions? Like, do I need to have a synchronous session to discuss that what are the types of masks, or can I take it asynchronously in a discussion forum of a LMS, or can I ask them on some other format? Then my third part is, because no student has got a clean slate. It's always that knowledge is constructed due to interaction with content and people. People includes the teachers, that is the instructors and facilitators, and the peers. So how is the knowledge going to be constructed? So there will be some amount of peer-to-peer interaction and peer-to facilitator interaction. Do I, as an instructor, want my students to refer to different other things and then get back on it? So where all will I need the reference part, as we call them as trajectories? And do I need my students to have some collaboration from where they will also produce an artifact, let's say like a presentation or an essay, or because I don't want always to take a quiz. There are so many multiple ways in which assessments can be done. So let's now start deciding this. So as soon as you have seen the content, and like Vijay told me that people are already answering in the chat box, now take a moment and think that, okay, I have my objective set. I also know my outcomes, but there is a journey, right, to achieve those outcomes or to achieve those objectives. So what all things will I do? Yes, awareness programs, definitely. But then awareness programs will be collaborative production. Will it be a group activity? And then are you going Facebook Live by students? Yes, even that is possible. And then and then do you plan to assess it? See, just by your own chat and your own response, we are coming up with more deeper ways in which we can have knowledge construction and dialogue discussion. So just take a moment and try to write that. So can we have a way in which our students to create memes? Oh yes, fantastic. You know what? Memes are very, very popular, and they bring out not only the creativity, because to create a meme, you need to know a concept like the back of your hand, you know. And if you ask the students to create memes, they come up with fantastic things. So I'm so happy to see the faculty participating in this FDP. Talking of memes, yes. Memes, comic strips, everything. I mean, memes is the in thing right now. Yes, approach like cartoons. Well, animation, yeah, there are programs that you can do. How you can submit your answers? Yes, we are going to post the links. Please wait, please wait. And I'm sure we all are, I hope that you can hear the joy in our voice that we are so glad to see the participation and people saying that how to post the answers. Innovative ways of advertising, yes. So let's go the next step towards finalizing our plan. So now we have to design learning activities. Once we have decided that, okay, I am going to have a discussion here, I'm going to have a particular part here. So what activity will I design? Is it going to be a discussion forum activity or a peer-to-peer interaction in some other format? Am I going to have a formative assessment or am I going to ask them to submit assignment? Is it going to be, am I going to allow them to use online tools like somebody said to create animation, or I'm going to ask them to just create a pen, paper, flip book type of an animation? Even that is fine. Or when they submit, who's going to check? Am I going to check? Or is the machine going to check? Is it going to be automated? Or am I going to ask my students only to check each other's assignments, or maybe have an exhibition sort of a thing where everybody can, from all the departments, can come and see it? So come on, this is your next step. And I think now, just once you take a little bit of a breather, we will show you the template, and then at the same time, Vijay will be posting the link also of the template, which
Yes.
you can download and then fill up, because you have almost like completed it alongside. Then you will just have to copy paste from your document into that template and post, and upload it in the drive that we have. Yes, role play, quiz, everything. Yes, everything is possible, right? So we just need to put it into a proper place. So here is the template. This is the constructor. So here, very clearly, on the left-hand side, what we can see is we will have the learning outcomes. So please try to create a learning outcome for this particular content of this coronavirus that we shared with you. Then try to think of what are you actually assessing, both the formative, the summative. You need not actually have these columns, but it makes it very easy. And then your activities as to what goes online, what goes offline, what goes in the LMS, or if you are not using LMS, you want to use some other platform, whatever you are going to use, just try to mention it there. And then see how much of the classroom is needed. When we say the classroom, it's online classroom, huh?
Synchronous mode.
Yes, synchronous session, live session.
Synchronous session.
And try to minimize the live sessions. You can be brave and even go to 0, huh? So that's allowed. Right now it's a lab. In lab, it's allowed. But only thing that we have already discussed and everybody has agreed is not more than 30% of synchronous session. So I'm sure everybody must have taken the link and must have downloaded. And if you have doubts, please respond to, put it in the chat if you have doubts. And then as soon as you are done with filling the template, you can upload your templates or filled up templates using the drive link that has been shared. So then we will get all your completed session plans also.
Just once you complete the session plans, just you can confirm in the chat so that we can go through a few of
yes, actually what we can do is like this is a lab session, and once we have your sessions uploaded, then we can rehydrate ourselves and just have a sip of water, so it doesn't become a load to anybody. That is again one very important thing that we all need to remember. We always tell our students and the participants that do take a short break of 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Just move away from the screen and look away. Have a sip of water. You just have like 5 steps and then come back and sit.
Yeah, a few stretchings they can do.
There was some query, I think, but I couldn't see it properly. It just went. Do we have to do something general? Was a query asked?
Could not get the link. Somebody's posted in the. Just I will repost
Okay.
links again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you also fill up things, and we are considering this also as a short break for a sip of water.
Yeah.
And since I'm sharing my screen, I think one of my teammates would tell me whether, or Vijay can see
Yeah.
whether if you have uploaded or people have started uploading the
Yes.
session
I'll check.
plans.
I'll check. Yeah.
We would also like to know whether you have enjoyed making this type of a session plan. And yeah, one more thing, it's all right to go wrong. Please remove off all that pressure that, oh my God, what if my session plan is not correct? Because, all sorts of coffee blends work well and all sorts of chai blends also work well. So don't worry. And how much, I mean, nobody is expecting anybody to be perfect. Lesser so in a session, in like 5 minutes, if you're going to put this up, there
So
is
Isma,
no
just I
question
had
of
a
being
small
perfect.
suggestion to the participants. Actually,
Yes.
please download that Word file and then you prepare your lesson plan and then you upload that Word file again into that folder with your name. Don't edit in that folder in the document. Just you
Okay.
download that format and then again you upload it. A small instruction. Yeah.
Yes, so that way we will have different different submissions. So please download, fill it up, and upload. And yes, don't forget to name the file. You can give your own name to the file. Okay, by the time some people are uploading, I'm just taking a question. How can we minimize duplicacy of assessment of online teaching? Because we largely depend on assessment system than learning activities. Well, the whole question here is to frame the questions in such a manner that they are not memory based but application based, thereby totally eliminating the chance of duplication. Like right now, if you would see that I can also have this as my assessment of pedagogy, and I can actually give marks also, but at the same time I am 100% sure that nobody of you all will have any lesson plan same as the other. So we have got different types of techniques for that. For designing assessments, one of which is open book exam. But at the same time, application based exams are what, at the higher order thinking skills, if you keep in mind, then definitely you are going to have very less chance of duplicacy. Sir, can we have the chat? And yeah, somebody has posted the link again. Yes. Yes, no problem that you could not
Yeah.
get the link.
Once again, I will post the links.
No, sir, that is like fine. This is exactly what we are trying to suggest, that when we go online, it uh, it gives us so much of depth as a human being also, because we start being considerate towards the others. Because, oh, I can see, that doesn't mean that the other person can also see. So if we as faculty members will have certain such glitches, I won't even call it as a glitch, I'll just call it as an obstacle, then definitely our students are also going to have hurdles. So when we start thinking in this particular format, that what is my learner going to be able to access, at that time itself, it makes us a much better, much humane teacher. Being a learner is much more important. There is no hurry, therefore there is no race. So it doesn't matter who is slow, who is fast. There are, in nature also, every season has got characteristic flowers, and there is no competition in the flowers and the fruits, that who blossoms first. So why do we need to have that type of competition in learning? Let at least learning be joyful and enjoyable, and not a race. So are we having any
I think they're facing some problems. Most of the people are directly editing in that same the
done?
document. That is
We
one
have
problem.
got somebody saying done. So
Yes,
have
there
you
are the
uploaded
three
it?
submissions. There are three submissions in the folder, ma'am. We have three submissions in the folder. You can open. You can.
Okay. So then I need to stop presenting, I think, to be
Yes.
able to access the. See, even I am also not sure with this Cisco WebEx what goes where. So even I am also going to ask. So doesn't
Otherwise,
matter. We all are
otherwise,
learning.
what I will do is I will go through those documents and I will read out. Yeah.
So it's okay, Vijay, because
Okay.
it will be better, because if all of them see it. So I'm doing stop sharing. If I'm doing it wrong, then let me. Okay. And so I will share something again. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Just give me a moment. Yes. Let me just see what the submissions are. Okay. So now I'll start sharing those. Just let me know if it is correct. Huh? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you can open the files.
Okay.
You can open with the docs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So shall we take it one by one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is being filled by the time. Let's see whatever is complete first. Okay, so here we have now. Let's see what the session plan includes. Let's see the outcome. The outcome says that learn importance of personal hygiene, types of hand wash and sanitization. And the formative says through an assignment, write an essay. Excellent. And summative says grading based on MCQ. Okay. And online video or LMS for quiz and assessment. And in class, there will be practical learning of hand wash and sanitizing techniques. Okay,
Yeah.
so I would like to ask a question here to who is this? Sai Kishore. Uh, Practical learning in the class, how do you actually um, envision it? Means आप क्या सोच रहे हैं? Like how will you actually do it in the class? Practical learning of hand wash and sanitizing techniques. You can answer it in the chat. So this could be something where we would like to know some more technique that we all would like to know what are the different techniques in which practical learning can happen. And also, by the time the others also, if they come to, if they start thinking of this, and also how is the essay going to be assessed? That can also be a point of discussion for us. And that is also a point of from where we can our lesson session plans can become different. So can Sai Kishore sir or say it? Can you type it out? Even the others also, if they want to have something some ideas on the formative and the in-class practical learning, we would love to know it. Should we go to the other lesson plan till then?
Yes.
Let's try to go to the
Meanwhile,
other
we'll,
session plan.
yeah.
Okay, we have got some answers.
No, right now we don't have any answers from the chat.
Okay, okay. No, what I was thinking was, this is just, I'm just sharing because I was very happy to see that essay on what they have learnt in the session. So maybe I would have asked them to write an essay and then it could have been peer reviewed or, checked by different groups of students, or I could assign it to others. At the same time, this practical learning, I had something in my mind when I said that in the class, what it could be, but I'm just waiting for something new and innovative to come up. So let's see if it comes up.
We
By the
have
time, let's
one
go to
response from Padmavati, Professor Padmavati, saying that conduct of role plays in the class. Yeah.
Yes, yes, nice.
That's also a
Role
nice
play,
idea. Yeah.
Yes, it's a very nice idea.
I think some of the
So-
participants are also sharing their lesson plans by sharing with their drive links. If you want, we can also open those links directly from the
Okay.
chat. Yeah, we have few
Okay,
submissions like
okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So here we have asked students to make posters in their language after understanding. Okay, विभय त्रिपाठी जी, आपका और मेरी सोच काफी मिलती जुलती है, because even when I made a session plan on this, I also wrote the same thing. And then ask peers to check for clarity of the message. Yes, but the thing that I would like to point out is of course, I mean, it's just a very short duration activity, so I'm not saying about it, but here is something that needs to be concretized, because we need our students to know that what are we assessing through their posters. if that is not very specific, then the posters can go in a broad range, and it will become difficult for us only to, assess them accurately. So six types of, I think you have like not able to type it, but I'm sure you'll be doing it afterwards. And then it should be shared by everybody via social platforms or link on YouTube. Fantastic. So, and direct interaction should be for problem solving only, if any. Okay, so here we have an idea of a session which hardly has got any live sessions, right? So, and let's go to the third one that we have got. Okay. Okay, people are still typing here. So let's have this, where again we have something like no live class needed. Okay, so somebody like they said that it was role play. Yes, we could have, because the learning outcomes are very clear here, that we need to have the practice the protocol of wearing masks and apply alternatives to hand washing. So there is a role play here, there is a comic strip here. Role play is also in regional language and to be recorded and shared. That is the first lesson session plan when we saw, and I said that I do have something on my mind. That was this. And then there would be a quiz on the protocols and alternatives. There's also create a poster, and monitoring is being done over the social media group, and no live class needed at all. So there would be like formative activities which will be monitored, and summative activities which would be submitted. And see, the formative one, we have peer review, and comments on the discussion forum would also be graded, and very clearly mentioned that the peer review should be done for of at least 2 role play videos, and then the comic strip submission would be through the LMS and would be assessed manually. So see, if we have this type of session plans, and if you can come up with such fantastic session plans in like 5 minutes, then I'm sure that if you're going to have a planned part, you are definitely going to have a wonderful session plans. And with this, there seems to be different types of models which can have blends. So, Vijay, can you tell us more about?
Yes. Yeah. So till now we have discussed about the necessity of blending the asynchronous and synchronous modes of learning. So let us look at what are the various types of models which are already proven the research or by the researchers. Okay, so let us go through one by one. Okay, so when it comes to the blended learning, so there are several models that are proposed in the by the researchers, but here we are going to present 5 of them because of time and time purpose. Okay, so let us go with the one by one. That is one. The first one is rotational model. So again, rotational, you have 3 more. We will come back, and one more is flexible model, and then we have flipped model of blended learning, and then we have a la carte type of model, and the last one which we are going to discuss is enriched virtual model. And again, under the rotation, we have 3 more models which you can use for our blended class design. That is station rotation model, and lab rotation model, and individual model. Okay, let us go one by one and try to understand the ways in which you can go with different types of blended learning models. Okay, so let's move on. The first we'll take up the rotational model. Okay, so as I already told it, there are 3 types of rotational models. That is, one is station, then lab, and individual. When it comes to the station, normally let us consider a scenario of class with 60 students. Okay, in this, what we can do is we can divide these 60 students into 6 groups or 10 groups of each having some 6 members in each group, and you can create some 10 stations within your class. Because station in the sense it's like workstations. Okay, where you can divide these 60 students into 10 groups, and you can assign different activities to each group. So one you can give a simple project, a small project to a group of students and ask them to develop that project at one corner of your classroom, or that which we are calling as a station. Okay, and then you can assign one, you can give one topic and you can ask some 6 people to debate on that topic and come up with some conclusions. And even
Yes.
the teacher directly participate in the discussions, and he can personally clarify the doubts for the students within a small group of 6 people, where they can come out and they can directly interact with the teacher. And
Yes, I would just like to
yeah,
add here, Vijay, to whatever
yes,
Vijay is saying. The stations in the online scenario can be the breakout rooms
breakout
in
rooms.
the
Yes, exactly.
video conferencing. Yeah.
Exactly. In the online scenario, they comes as breakout rooms, and similarly, a set of students can be given a task, maybe a topic to do some research in the online mode, so they can go through the resources that are available on the internet, and then they come up with some conclusions. Okay, likewise, if you make them into small groups, then what we will do is we will rotate them across the stations as per the timetable scheduled by the instructor. And this type of model we will call it as a station rotation model, okay, where the learners will be rotated across the stations. Okay, and in this way, what you can do is you can have more personal interaction with the students. Each and every student will get a chance to interact with the teacher personally, as well as he can also explore on their own by going through various resources available in the net, or by peer discussions among themselves. Okay, there is a lot of scope for learning. Okay, that is the first model, that is station rotation model. And then you can also have lab rotation type of model. Okay, where this is normally what we will use in our even engineering college or any other intermediate college, where half of the section will be in lab and the half of the section will be in class. And again, if you want, you can implement this station rotation model in the laboratory also. You can rotate them across the workstations. Okay, so these are the different types of models which you can also experiment, and you can come up with your own model that suits your needs. Okay, and then we have the individual rotation model also. Okay, in some cases where teachers can assign specific tasks to the individuals, and then the particular person can be, the particular learner can be asked to go to some research lab within the campus and do some project work in that particular research lab. Otherwise, some of the you can identify the students, and if they are doing in a particular area, and on that particular day, if there is any guest lecture that is happening in the campus, you can send that particular individual to the session and ask them to attend that session also. In that way, you can also rotate your individual students as per their requirements to the various stations that are there in your institution. Okay? So this is called as individual rotation model. So these 3 types of models will come under the first type, that is rotational model. Okay, and then next one is, and the rotation is completely structured by the teacher. Okay, so that is going to be scheduled by the teacher. It's not the individual that is going to take their own decision. Okay, so it's a fixed schedule prepared by the teacher, and the learners will go through these stations. Yeah.
Yes, so the stations are actually nothing but individual spaces where a group of students will work as per the instructions given by the teacher. There was a response in the chat box that I read just now. So this is the answer to that. So like in the lab, how we have one particular experiment is being done by, let's say, a group of students, and another experiment is done by another set of students. So these are like workstations. So those particular groups are working on their own, and there is interaction only within that particular station or that particular workstation ka group. Every group is having some different type of a work there. So
Yes.
the group interacts within the group itself, and the teacher can go and see whatever is happening in every breakout room as of now. Otherwise, it would be every workstation that is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next model, that is going to be a flexible model. It's completely flexible from the learner's point of view. So you will have the complete infrastructure what we already discussed, that breakout rooms and all. Now the learner will decide where he wants to move on. Okay, for example, he is learning he is doing some developing some model. Okay, he can take permission from the workshop and he can schedule a slot to the workshop, and they can work in the workshop. Okay, likewise, he can decide the requirements, and he can go through those stations as per his wish and his requirements. It's not decided by the teachers, but teachers will be available to the students, and if there are any clarification sessions that he wants to have with the teachers, then they can the learners can also take the appointment from the teachers, and they can have face-to-face online interactions with the teachers. Okay, they are also available. Okay, so this is going to be a flexible model as per the from the learner's point of view. Yeah, we
Yes, so
have,
here the learner has got much more of control, while in the first one, it was the teachers who were more in control.
yes.
So let's see the third.
So the next model is flipped classroom. As some of you might have already gone through this. In this, what we'll do is the teachers will provide the basic content about mainly, especially the fundamental. They will prepare the videos, and they will give the content for the fundamentals, and the students will go through the content from their home and come back to the class with already with some concepts already they have in their mind. And in the class, what teacher will do is they will do the activities, and they are going to give uh, some guided projects or some difficult problems they will take up and they will solve in the classroom. So normally in the traditional teaching, what we will do is we will give the most of the lectures we will give it in the class, and we will give them some difficult tasks at the home. Actually, the learners require teachers' assistance while they're solving the difficult tasks, okay, which is not happening in the regular conventional teaching. Okay, so that type of problems, those type of problems can be solved when you go for flipped classroom, where we'll put all the content and we'll give the content, that is videos, to the learners, and they will go through the contents at their own pace at home. So here again they'll move from the learning will happen both at home as well as classroom. Okay. So the
Yes,
difficult tasks
and
are solved in the classroom, and the basics they will learn at the home. Yes.
yes, and when we say here, or rather when it is seen here, that school, it's not the school as in what we call it school. Huh? School means any educational institution, because usually, as per the nomenclature nowadays, also we have the School of Humanities and School of Applied Mathematics. So it's that type of a school. So it has got nothing to do with the level of schooling like primary school, elementary school, or secondary school. A school is a school where you're learning.
Learning
Yeah,
happens.
so please, like this is for all of us. Even
Yeah.
if the diagram says that it is school, because they are called as schools in the universities. That is why. Okay, and flipped classroom, it's something that we are going to focus more on, right, Vijay?
Yes, yeah. Just once we complete these models, then we'll take up this flip classroom and we'll go. Yeah. The next model is going to be a la carte model. So again, this is going to be completely backbone by the online lectures, online content. This is these days even the new national educational policy is also mandating this to have, which is not right now. It is not available in the private, in most of the private institutions. Like in a scenario like engineering colleges, for example, if an engineering student wants to take a course in arts, in music, okay, it may not be possible in engineering college. Okay, So there may not be any specialized teacher who can offer that particular course in that particular institution. It may be possible in some of the universities, but in a typical engineering colleges, institutions like what we already have, that is engineering colleges or MBBS college. In an MBBS college institute, they cannot do any coding. If you even if the doctor wants to learn how to if he is really interested in coding, they cannot take up such subjects in their institutions. Yeah, obviously, we need to go and take such subjects as open electives, and we can register in platforms like NPTEL and SWAYAM, and you can get credits also. Okay, such type of changes we already seen this in the latest national education policy also. Okay, so here the learner will have the complete freedom of learning the subjects of his or her own choice. Okay, this is in addition to the normal face-to-face courses or online teaching, which we already discussed in the other models. Okay, so this is called a la carte model, and the last one, that is enriched or virtual model. Okay, actually this is similar to what I will say is flipped classroom, where you will give the online content to the students, and they can go through that content on their own pace. But the instruction will also be done completely online. Okay, the previous model which I have discussed, that is flipped classroom, in the not in the present scenario, in the just pre this pandemic situation. In case of flipped classroom, we used to have the normal face-to-face interaction in the institution, in the classrooms, a physical classroom. But this present pandemic has forced us to make that in classroom activity also in virtual mode. So this is going to be the complete online lecture, online course. Okay, so even the classroom activity will be done online, as well as the asynchronous mode is also done online. Okay, so it's a complete online course which is similar to flipped classroom. Yeah, these are the 5 models which we would like to present before you. And in addition to these models, you can also come up with your own model that is suitable for your needs. There's no limit. You can experiment among these models also. Okay, so now,
Yes.
yeah, please go ahead.
Just a moment, Vijay. There is this question that yes, rotational model, flex model is definitely popular, and people do use it, and it is definitely useful even in the present scenario. But the only thing is that the teacher needs to be, I mean, when I say teacher, it's like the educator, the instructor, they need to be very clear in the objectives and the accessibility of the students. So how we are going to have the rotational model or the flex model? Flex model, yes, we do have it because it's a student-centered model. Rotational model, we'll need to have stations, right? In the breakout rooms, you will need to design that many activities. And so that every group then goes into the other breakout room, and then later at the end of maybe 2 to 3 sessions, all of them have done all sorts of activities. So we will have to define and design that many activities. So if the educator, if the facilitator is enthusiastic enough and willing enough, then yes, all of it are useful in the present scenario. And like Vijay has said, that there are not only these 5, there are multiple of them. But because of the lack of time and like we did not want to bombard you with the entire list of 12 to 15 different models, we just picked out the 5 that can be very commonly used. And out of that also, flipped is what we are going to actually see. Yes. Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, madam, please go on.
Okay, okay. So what do we actually mean by flipped? So when we say that it is flipped, it means that the reading part, okay, the pre-session reading is what usually we can call it as, that is already done. So then what is the classroom going to be used for, or why is that live session required? Remember the activity that we did earlier where all of you had said that peer interaction, clearing the concepts. So exactly, clearing the concepts means that we will have to, okay, my McAfee is also giving me something popped up, some message. All right, so class, the actual synchronous time has to be utilized in the assimilation, the clearing of concepts. And how will this assimilation take place, or how will this entire concept clearing take place? It will take place through interaction. Interaction of whom? Interaction of the students and the teacher, that is the instructor, as well as students amongst themselves. So next time when we are going to plan a synchronous session, synchronous, the live synchronous session, we have to see to it that we avoid saying that switch off the mics. In fact, it should be like, okay, today we are going to discuss on this. So whenever you want to say something, please raise your hands or at least put it in the chat. And then we will have to orchestrate the entire discussion around certain focal points and try to create a learning out of that. So that's exactly how we do it. That first we'll have to find out the resources. Like you'll not believe this if we were to tell you. We would like to stop with that at the end. That how much time do you think that we took to find out this coronavirus thing for you? Because we needed something generic. We needed some material that you could go in through 5 minutes. Because we couldn't give it to you yesterday. Then we also needed something as easy to for you to make anything, any session plan, irrespective of your main core subjects. And we also wanted authentic resources. So it takes time, right? So just think on this, that how much time we would have thought of. And then the instructor will find and create resources. Well, actually, finding is much better. We can curate a lot of things. Believe me, we do not need to create videos. Okay, there is a lot of material out there which you can very effectively use in your teaching learning, and it can minimize your creation of videos a lot. So that saves you the trouble of creation of videos, but then you have to create activities. So you will have to ensure that the students go through the resources before coming to class. I can understand that there will be apprehensions here that students so padke nahi aayenge, they don't read. But for the first time, when they will see an interesting activity, then they will only feel bad ki, oh, if I would have read, then I would have been able to attempt this. Just remember, like how you all only said that where do we post the answers? Where do we upload the sessions? Okay, so yes, it is going to happen, but we need to take the first initial step, and the students will follow suit. Don't worry. Then the class time has to be spent in activities and discussions. Now, this is where the skill of an educator comes into the picture. Remember that technology is just a tool. So we can have lots of tools, like we could have included here different tools like Mentimeter, Padlet, and God knows all sorts of things. But it's fine. We did not use anything right now, today. We could have used. In fact, we both have discussed so much that we can use this and that. But then we thought that, see, because this it's a blended learning, the concept needs to be shared with you with greater depth. So let's not have the distraction of the tools. So we decided that yes, we will focus on the chat. Fortunately, it's a Sunday, so many of our team members are also helping us out, seeing the YouTube comments and seeing the chat and telling us what is coming up. So yes, we can always plan it out. And then yes, video is the common resource, but if you remember, along with the video, we also gave you a PDF. So you can give books, papers, websites to the students. I know, again, half of us are thinking that, oh, students don't read. But let's give, because it's not correct to say that students don't read. They do read. Maybe we can have an effective meme making on what they have read and come, and then we can have, like, they will read and come. Don't worry, they will. So let's come to the in-class activities here. Now, when we are talking of the in-class activities, we have to think that it should be real world scenarios. So because we want more of discussion and the peer interaction amongst the students, we can have so many multiple perspectives coming up, that what did you see, what did you do, how did you perform the same experiment. See, let's try to remember our own days as students. We have always tried to figure out and ask our own lab mates that how did you get this endpoint, where does this endpoint come, what is that exact color, how much is the reading that you got. So there is always this knowledge construction is always there. So if we can utilize it and try to tweak a little bit, then definitely there will be interaction amongst the students. Then, of course, problem solving is the major learning, as we can say. And we have to design the activities that will help them to identify the problems and put their problem solving skills and the critical thinking to use, to application here. Once they are into the groove, they will not even realize that it's a 1 hour lecture or it's a 2 hour lecture, and they will be wanting more. They will go back from your synchronous session, if it is synchronous session, going back to the asynchronous wanting for more, and they will definitely refer to all the things that you have given to them. We can always ask our assessments in a way in which they can have more of exploratory questions, which go a little bit beyond the core curriculum and instigate higher order thinking skills. Other than that, what we want is the most basic thing, that we don't want them to be passive listeners. So multiple ways in which we can make our students active, the way you have been active. You would have seen that we have something called as activities. They are actually reflection spots where we make you think and react with the content and us both. So very careful planning of the live session or the asynchronous session, both. In the content, if we can develop reflection spots, then definitely they will not be passive listeners, neither in the asynchronous nor in the synchronous.
Yeah, actually,
Is
there
it
is
would you like to
one
add something here?
question from the Professor Pavan Kumar. What he is saying is, though we give all the material, the students may not turn up after going through the material. Then what are the ways in which you can solve these problems? So what I
May
will
not turn up. Okay.
yeah, they may not turn up.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they turn? No, they would. Definitely they would.
Yes.
Because your activity is not going to be a replication of what you have given as the content. So if it is an application of the content, or if it is a broadening of the content, or if it is deepening of the content, then definitely, and of course we have to devise immersive activities, then definitely 100% students will look forward to your lectures.
Normally it happens in
Believe
the
me,
only
it
in
will
the first,
happen.
yeah, first few classes it may happen, but after they understood that the topics that are covered in the classroom requires the prior knowledge about the topic, definitely within a few classes they start going through your content. Yes.
Yes, and also there is one more thing. Uh, the more you go to the personal touch in your live sessions, then your this concern that students will not turn up just goes away like a poof. Okay, why? Is because, see, everybody wants to speak and everybody wants to be heard. The problem with the world is nobody is ready to hear. Okay, so if we can have that type of an activity designed where every student finds his or her own voice,
Yeah.
then believe me, the students will participate in large numbers. Yes, it takes much more, I wouldn't say that it's too much of an effort, definitely it's not, but uh, some focused effort by the teachers will give them a chance of finding that voice, and they will always want to attend that class or if it is even asynchronous mode of communication with you, even then they will want to communicate with you. And that is what I think is required. And that's what is the objective. I hope that we have answered the question.
We have few queries in the chat also, ma'am. That is, if there are some 60 passive listeners in the group of 60, is there any strategy to pick out?
Yeah, just a moment.
Yes.
Passengers in a group of 60. First of all, if at all, you can include a Padlet or a place where you can say that, okay, you tell us about your experience. It could be a funny experience. It could be something which is very emotional experience or something. The first one, the ice breaking, as what we call, if you allow the students to, come out with what they think, then they will definitely develop, because this I have tried myself multiple times, and that is why I can say this very, very confidently that yes. And not only that, students are so supportive of each other. This is a very recent incident that when I asked something about, it was a class on exclusion and inclusion in education, and people were to suggest that whether they have experienced this themselves. I was not expecting that type of stories to come up, but yes, there were stories, and people, the students were supporting each other and trying to provide moral support to each other. So they will come out once you allow them a safe space to voice their thoughts. And the second one, well, that 45 to 70% thing, most of us are in the same boat, so please don't worry. It has got nothing to do with the percentage. Like we said earlier also, when I said percentage is just a type of, what you can say, it's not a label. Somebody gets 45% maybe due to hundreds of reasons. Because I have had students who have scored only 60% marks in 10th standard and have gone ahead to score 90% later on in life. I mean, let's remove those labels and look at them as learners and make them feel confident that we are looking at them as learners, and that the percentage doesn't matter, and you will find the difference in their participation. Yeah. So, yes. So content is contextualized and they're actively engaged, and we are asking them to explore the questions, and passive to active learners. So this is the flipped classroom, which incorporates active learning a lot, with lots and lots of benefits. And we are running out of time, so we are just going through this, that yes, there is research to prove that flipped classroom works and works well. And also, why is it a good idea is we've already done this. So I'm just going through it very quickly. That is, time is going to be spent in assimilation, and the class time will be spent in higher cognitive levels and not on the lower ones. And of course, the support of peers and instructors, like we said. And we are giving you an alert here. What is flipped classroom not all about? It's not just creating lectures and giving and students just watching lectures. It's also giving clarification in the class. So what we intend here is that we need to create structures and structured learning activities. That is the whole purpose of today's entire session, where we saw even a structured session plan and a structured way in which you all uploaded your session plans as well. So we have to, we have to enable our students to apply whatever the content they go through before they come to the class. And in the variety of ways in which we can do this is by structuring activities. And like the questions had come, and hopefully we have answered your queries. So first, the exposure, then some incentives just to initiate. There can be lots of ways in which you can provide incentives. Like we just would, we have one of our team member with us. Does she want to switch on her mic, Daisy? She had put the answer in the chat.
Yeah. I just want to add to that in order to motivate the passive learners or the listeners, it would be good to incentivize their participation by associating a very short, say, quiz related to the discussion that is happening in the class or the discussion that is happening maybe through the Google group or any discussion forum that we have chosen. This is just I want to add. Yes.
Yeah, so this is only for the initial purpose, of course, because that's an incentive, and it's not to be, made as a practice. Because then, if something becomes a regular thing, then it is going to lose the sheen. So, incentives have to be given, and there are variety of ways in which incentives can be given. But the whole purpose is to take them to, a level where they themselves are ready, the way you are all asking questions. So I'm just giving a very quick through to this. And yes, very interesting thing would be to provide mechanisms for students to get feedback from their peers. Like we had one session plan uploaded when they said that peers will review. Yes, because if when will peers review? When they see it. So it's a very natural thing कि टीचर ने बोला तो नहीं देखना है, बट हमारे फ्रेंड का तो हमको कंटेंट देखना है. So it's always like, instead of we preparing the content, we can always ask the students to prepare their own videos and then go in for the peer review. So yeah, these are ways. So what are the takeaways is what we have seen. Actually, we have seen this when you uploaded your session plans, that there is no single correct way. Okay, so like the old nursery rhyme says, some like it hot, some like it cold. So yes, there will be, and that is the reason why, like blended when we say, and we started with an example of coffee and Starbucks. Why do we have so much of such a big menu card there? Because there is no single correct way, and they will go ahead and customize it for us. You want added chocolate, you want a strong one, you want without sugar, and God knows what all things. So exactly the same way, like if two teachers are going to take the same topic in two different classes, they are going to take it in two completely different manners. Same way, there is no one way of conducting online courses. So you can have as many approaches as you want to have, and in fact, never ever try to mimic. In fact, you should have your own signature way of delivering online class or delivering any online activity. And here we would like to thank once again our mentor who is not, I think, able to join, uh, Dr. Samir. Dr. Samir Sahasrabudhe, who is behind all this entire thing, that how it should go and how the faculty can benefit from the blended learning, the flipped learning, the different models. So please go ahead and blend it and flip it. There was a movie called as Bend It Like Beckham. So we just try to avoid saying that. But yes, blend it like yourself. Okay. And before we conclude, there is something like an application for you all. What did we learn today? We learned to blend, we learned to flip. So here is something for the flip as an application for your tomorrow's session. So tomorrow we have a session by Dr. Ela Venil and Natasha, two of our teammates who are going to take designing learner-centric e-content. And here they are giving you what to read and count for tomorrow's class. So the flip starts here. So Vijay, can you just try to read out this?
Yeah, sure. So, yes, most of the people have already pointed out how we can make our students go through the e-content that we have already given to them before they come to the class in the flipped mode. Okay, so this is one such a solution what you can offer to the students. So you can make your content either content comes either it is video or PDF, whatever it is. If you can make it as more interactive, not like a monologue video, is given only one way. If you can add some interactions to that video or the document which we are going to give to the students for reading at the home, so then obviously they will not lose the focus or interest, and they will go through the entire video. And there are several ways in which you can make that video interactive, and that's what we are going to see in the next session. So for that, what you have to do is you have to come up with a video, which could be either your own video that is related to your own course, or you can also adapt one video from YouTube. Okay, if it is your own video, there is a restriction of size, that is 16 MB. It should not be more than 16 MB. That is, you can have a video of some 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, if it is a 4 to 5 minutes in MP4 format, it won't be more than 16 MB. Okay, so you can come up with that video and identify. Yeah, if you are taking the video from the YouTube, then what you need to do is you need to be careful with the Creative Commons license. You cannot just like borrow anything that is available in the net. So you need to be careful with the Creative Commons. Oh, this is the homework what we are giving to you for the next session. Yes.
Yes, so this is where the flip begins. That is at the, so this is how we are telling you to adopt flip. And yes, there is one very important chat message that yes, the teacher has to be very analytical when we are doing blended, flipped, or anything. Analytical as to what are the difficult parts, not only topic wise, but also access wise, and considering the how the objectives and the assessment can be met. So with that, yes, I think we are done with it. And
Yes.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajita Deshmukh and Vijay Rama Raju, for making us understanding about the concept of blend and as well as the flip. And then you have already given us one assignment to the participant for the flip also. So it's
Yes.
really, it's in my understanding, the participants mostly are the faculty, and the session is going to be started. So I hope the lecture schedule which you have asked us as an assignment, and they will make it for their next session, next semester preparation, and they will be benefited with the way you have make them understand that how to make the I would say that mixing of things together, like as you have mentioned, the a la carte, you are mixing of uh, the flipped one, you have the rotational one and the flex one, and as well as the enriched one. So all blending they things they can use it in their next semester teaching. So with this, really we are very thankful for your this informative lecture and wonderful things. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amit sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. I think they have taken care of all the question that is being posting regularly on the chat box. So
Correct, correct.
maybe we can, sir, end the session. I think there are no questions. I believe, because they have already considered while they are delivering. So I think we can end now. Again,
Yes.
thank you,
Only
Ajita and Vijaya Rama Raju sir, for a
Thank you, sir.
wonderful session. I think our participants have taken a maximum of it, and hope to see you, ma'am, again for any maybe for tomorrow session or any other time. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Sure.
definitely.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
just one
We would
request,
like to
Saula, sir?
thank
Ajita ma'am.
all the participants also for their active participation in the discussions. Thank you so much. all the participants.
And also that one of our teammates has posted the link on flipped class by Dr. Kanan Moudgalya from IIT Bombay. So it's there in the chat that you can always refer to if you feel stuck in flipped. Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
one request to you, both of you, could you please share the slides to us so that,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I have seen that lots of people are requesting us for this.
I think, I mean, Vijay, can we post the our websites? They can go to the websites and download the presentation entirely.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just I will.
Just a request. It's better that if you can do it at your website, but if you can
Yeah.
just share it
Yeah,
through
sure.
email to us, it will be easy to us.
Okay.
Yeah,
For us.
definitely. Definitely, we will
Okay.
share with you, and you
We will
can
do that.
share with them. Yeah.
Yes.
Saula sir, if you want to add something, Saula sir. I am not sir, Saula
Yeah,
sir.
Amit. Yeah,
Yes sir.
yeah.
Please sir.
No, this is a. I'm continuously. I was glued to this, leaving all my things. So thanks a lot, Dr. Vijay, Dr. Ajita,
Thank you, sir.
and your team. We are
Uh,
very happy and very glad to have you here. Thank you very much.
Ajita and Ramesh sir, Saula sir is actually the chief investigator of Electronics and ICT Academy at MIT Jaipur. So under his guidance, we are actually conducting this particular ICT course.
Oh, thank you. Nice to know you, sir, even though it is through
Yeah,
virtual
I am not
media.
alone. I am not alone. We are 7 chief investigators. We are jointly planning and doing this. So this time we had about a plan for 8 plus 3. 3 are asynchronous from IIT Kanpur and
Oh,
8 are run in synchronous mode. This is one of them.
great.
Very nice to have you here.
Great, sir.
Yes, and I'd like to thank the participants
Madam,
also.
have a nice day.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
So participants, we have an announcement. Please, participants. Tomorrow we have an exam from 1 o'clock. Please remember. Yes, Bharat sir.
Yes, Amit sir, you have already announced the important announcement that tomorrow again we have a second quiz that will start from 1 a.m. 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. And after that we have a 4-hour lectures from 2 to 6:30. So all the best for the next quiz, and please attempt that quiz on time. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice evening to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks again, Bharat and Amit. Nice job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saula sir, for being with us constantly. Thank you, Rakesh sir,
I'm
for
enjoying all lecture. I'm enjoying contents. Very nice, very nice.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
I
no sir.
enjoyed all.
It's really nice.
Thank you, Bharat sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Amit sir. Saula sir.
Okay. Have a nice evening to all of you. Bye.